Ready.
Ready. And we are live. Ready and live already. Boom, just like that. Hello. Welcome. Cindy Lou here from the beBOLDyou podcast. Oh, look, I got her Facebook page up already. There you go. Now you people just go there and you'll be able to, check it on out. She's probably going to share this to her page anyway. So let me take that off the screen, hide that away. Hey. In case you've never met me before, my name is Cindy Lou. I'm the creator and founder of this beBOLDyou podcast, the author of Becoming BOLDyou, where we help you to figure out who in the world you are, who you want to show up as, and how to become that. Sometimes we put ourselves out there and we have an idea of what people are seeing. And when it's reflected back to us, we find out they see a completely different thing. So bringing those things into alignment is a really good idea and so helpful. The same happens with our finances. We think we've got it all under control. We think we know exactly what we're doing. We have our plans, or maybe we don't have our plans. We have money in our wallet, so we think we can go shopping. Well, we're going to talk today with RaShida Roberts about some of those things because, there are times when our financial journey, I love that she calls it a financial journey, doesn't quite exactly line up with what we thought or where we thought we were going. So I want you to welcome author, speaker, educator, and financial coach, RaShida Roberts. She's been serving the community on financial literacy since 2019, and she works with singles and educators and aims to help her clients crush debt by mastering their money mindset and setting boundaries. Woo, woo! You know what I say about boundaries? Boundaries is a box without a top. Have you ever heard of that?
I have never heard of that.
Yeah. Because sometimes you want those boundaries, right? Like boundaries are super helpful for us. Being boxed in isn't. So if we think about the boundaries as being a box without a lid, it's that you can see out, you can see where you're going, but you set boundaries that keep you safe and keep things from coming in at you and keep you from going into places you shouldn't go.
That's right.
So welcome and introduce yourself a little bit more. I'd love to hear a little more about you.
Hi, thanks, Cindy Lou, for having me. I appreciate it. And so, yes, RaShida Roberts here with Target Financial. And I am, my book, actually, I'm so excited, will be out next month. I've been doing this. I'm just so thankful that I got into financial literacy when I did, because I feel like that actually helped me prepare for the pandemic. I kid you not, had I not had my emergency fund together and just gotten some of the basic financial literacy that most of us think we have, oh my gosh, last year would have been different. I was thankful to keep my job, but I also found that, I was able to crush actually a little over $15,000 within 1 year. And so I did that. I didn't get a new job. I didn't go. Now, actually, I had started a side hustle, but I really wasn't profiting from it at all. So it was basically just taking skills and knowing how money works and managing my finances appropriately, which is how I got to paying off $15,000 worth of debt within 12-month time period. And so, a lot of times we think we need more money and we want more money, because that's the first thing that we say when our financial journey is that, hey, if you could just cut me a check for, this amount, then, hey, I could get out of debt, right? And so, but most of the time it's just we need to obtain the knowledge and the skill set in order to get ourselves out of debt and in order to do what we want to do. So I am an educator. So that's my first love, is education. And through financial literacy, I still get to educate. So I'm K through whatever age that you want to work with now, because, from my daytime, I am educating in the library. And so outside of that, adults. And I can't wait to bring, my program and what I believe about finances into my education world and work through libraries and, have different programs and set it that way, because I've already been talking to people and they're like, oh, they love that idea. But once COVID hit, it was kind of put everything on pause. So I can't wait to just do more and to help more people.
So you've done some virtually. I do know that you've done a little bit virtually. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, we actually had a Reignite Your Finances Summit in May 2nd. Well, actually it was April 30th through May 2nd. Whew, it was so much. It was so many goodies. So many goodies. And from that, actually, we are starting a real estate investing group. And so these are people that I've met online over the internet. And so many people gave us great feedback about that. I did that with a joint venture. And I just love it. You know, we think just because we grow up, you know, we get educated, and I had 2 degrees, and there's still things about finances that we don't know. You know, these are things that some of us over generations and generations have not been taught, have not had the privy to the access of the information. And so, you know, basic thing like taxes, you know, how does that work? You know, just little different things. And, you know, we all say, if you want to, you know, get out of debt, you just got to spend less, you know, spend less what you have. And although that is sound, it is sound, you know, we have to understand that money is behavioral. And so if it was a mathematical problem, we all be out of debt. We all, you know, just put 2 and 2 together and say, hey, that's it. But a lot of stress comes with finances, and, you know, just knowing how to keep more money in your pocket and stop subscribing to what the world says will help us a lot more. But it's definitely all starts up here with the mind, and the mindset is the biggest. It is just it's your most biggest hurdle. I guess I would say it's your biggest hurdle, not most biggest, but that's
now. See, you answered my next question. Like, you know, is it all about money? Is it all about like the numbers and the thing? No, it's really mindset.
It
so
really
part
is.
of the mindset when working with somebody is that you trust them. One of the ways that I help people to get to know my guests and therefore trust them more because you know them better is I have these 10 questions that I ask.
Uh-oh, here we go.
So here we go. What is your favorite color?
Ooh, my favorite color. Okay, so this is hard because I am such not a one thing person. So I'll give you an array of my favorite colors, which is dark pink, black. I like blue, and I do like red. So those are usually when somebody asks me that, those are my go-to colors. I like decorating with teal though. I love the teal colors to decorate with.
Awesome. And are you more introverted or extroverted?
So I am definitely an introvert. Some people might say I might be an ambivert, but I love to stay to myself. Dealing with people is an extra. It is extra. But when I'm out and about, when I'm talking to people are like, you are definitely not an introvert. I was like, I guarantee you I am. I still love people though. And I love talking because I spend so much time to myself. When I get a hold of you, you need to be ready because I have a lot to say. I have a lot.
So you're an outgoing introvert.
Only when I trust you. Only after I get to know you and trust you. And so I've actually taken tests and I was like, hey, that's exactly me. So once we've bonded, I trust you. And so I'm really great one-on-one. And so, you know, I like to have those more intimate conversations with people one-on-one. And, you know, I love group, but I love groups too. So it's I don't know. I'm a complicated person, but I do. I'm like I guess they say an introverted extrovert, something like that.
Outgoing introvert or an inward thinking extrovert.
Very inward thinking, a lot of overthinking.
So you could be an extrovert who's inward thinking and inward processing. Yeah, totally. Which is why you'd like to be by yourself so you can think. So,
yes, a lot.
What quote or phrase encourages you the most?
Well, that's a good one. What quote or phrase? Okay, so I don't know which one encourages me the most. One that I always say with business, but let's keep it personal. Oh, that's hard. You know what? I didn't think.
Well, use the business one then. I'm okay with
My
that.
business one is that the world will teach you how to get in debt. Your family and friends will encourage it, and the creditors will profit from it until you have the courage to say no.
Come
So
on, that is a really good one.
that is my personal business quote that I
Say
always
that again.
is that the world will teach you how to get into debt. Your family and friends will encourage your debt, and the creditors will profit until you have the courage to say no.
Wow.
So that's wrapped up in boundaries. It's wrapped up in the lessons that we learn subliminally and, what we're taught K through 12, even in the American dream, right? It's all wrapped up in debt because we're a capitalistic society. And I capitalize off of your debt. And by selling to you, when you don't know the rules of the wealthy, when you don't know the rules of how your taxes work, when you don't know the rules of how to just be a better consumer. So
come on. Ooh, we're going to learn some rules today. What energizes you?
Ooh, okay. So I know I'm an introvert, but what energizes me is bouncing ideas off of other people. So
you're an inward thinking extrovert. I don't think you're an introvert. I think you're an inward thinking and processing extrovert. That's my guess.
That does energize me to just bounce ideas. Plus, I also, just in the morning time, I, got to get my word in with God. I love it when I just, okay, I did this. I had my prayer time, and I did everything, and now I'm ready to go, and I'm not rushing.
Okay, so that ambivert's coming back here around. So why don't you want to be an ambivert? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
Well, ambiverts are amazing.
So, because I know, like, usually if you invite me somewhere, I'm gonna say like, woohoo, yes, but 24 hours beforehand, I'm like, oh, I can't make it. And I don't want to be around crowds. Like, I don't want to be around crowds. I will go different places,
small, intimate groups.
Yeah, but I'll go different places. Like, I'll go out to big crowds by myself, and I get to just wheel in and come out, I don't know. I like sitting at the bar. I like sitting at the bar and meeting people. So, but it's still kind of like that. I have this person on this side or this person on that side. It's still an intimate conversation. So
cool. I love it. Have you had a favorite age?
A favorite age? Oh, I don't know what my favorite age would be. I think my favorite age is now that I'm 40. I just turned 40 last month. So I feel that this is going to be my favorite age only because I've stepped into myself a lot more over the past couple of years. When you set boundaries, it definitely puts you on a different trajectory in your life. It's a struggle and it's a fight, for your own right. You fight for your life, fight for your voice. And so I feel that this is a different me, still trying to get out of that inward self and not using my voice and, just letting other people say and do, how they say we treat people, how we train people how to treat us. And so like now this is a new, different way I have to train people by using my voice, setting my boundaries, and not to hurt or harm people, but to really just so I can be at peace with just myself. Because when you're a people pleaser, because I'm a people pleaser, you have a lot of inward turmoil about what you should have said, what you should have done, because you didn't get things right, or you're trying to do them right because you're always looking towards somebody else and what they're thinking and their logic, and their logic overtakes your logic. And so you have a lot of inward conversations with yourself about what you should have done and just so many things. So 40 is definitely have to be, it has to be the number, because other than that, I can't think of.
Enjoy it. Yeah. 50's even more freedom, just so you know.
Yeah, that's the key word. Freedom.
Alrighty. And are you a book reader or a song listener?
Okay, I am well, I love songs, but look, I'm from the 90s. 90s I don't even know any of this new stuff that's going on. So I'm straight 90s, love Whitney Houston, love Mariah Carey. Like those are I love Celine Dion. I will pretty much, if it's a good ballad, just sing to me, like I love it. But books, I work in the library, so I love all kinds of books.
Did you say you work in a library?
I'm the librarian for my school. So
fun.
But there's so many books that I can't name one. Like one that I love reading with kids is called The Color of Me, because
that's such a good book.
It's about the Dominican Republic, and I love because the words, and because I've been writing forever, and so I love her connection with words and just the power that it's not even a long book, but I love it to read with the kids. Another one I love reading with the kids is The Outsiders, Roll of Thunder. So there's so many good books, and because I've been working in education so long, most of the time I'm reading either teen fiction or children lit. So, but you know what?
So many books, so little time.
Yes, so many.
I love that we ended up giving kids books as a reference. I love that. We actually have a children's author right now watching the show live. So too fun. While we're recording this live, for those listening to the podcast, I record these live over on Facebook and YouTube, and then repurpose them here for you to listen to as a podcast. How fun is that? What is the most exotic place you've ever been to?
My most exotic place has been to Cozumel, Mexico.
Ooh, nice.
I'm not very versed in traveling yet. Let's say yet. My friends always try to get me to go different places, but I don't really like flying on planes. But Cozumel was very fun. We rented a Jeep and just drove ourselves around the whole island and did some we did snorkeling. It was I love the snorkeling that we did because we actually flew in and stayed for about 4 or 5 days. So that was nice. And it was off season. So I guess their summers are off season, which was great for me because there wasn't a lot of people to crowd.
Love it.
So
do you create to live or live to create?
Oh, that's a good one. I think, live to create. Oh, these are hard questions. They're so good. Live to create. I think that would be my answer for that one.
Alrighty. And who has been your greatest influence? They can be dead or alive.
Ooh, okay, so my greatest influence would be, I would say my mom, only because I watched her growing up, going through school while we were little. And so education was always a big thing for me. That's why it was important for me to go to college. And and then I actually ended up working in education, which is, actually, I'll say it's funny, but I went back. You know how the schools give you your information? And I actually went back and looked through one of my early journals. It said I wanted to be a teacher or brain surgeon. And I ended up becoming a teacher. So
there you go. You knew. And what one word, can't give me more than one on this one. What one word describes you best?
Interesting.
I let the colors flex by, but the word, no. You have to come up with one.
I would say kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope. I love that word. What an amazing word. Very colorful, very, very multifaceted, changing constantly. I love it. That is an amazing word. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. We're going to switch over to answering a few things of content. So here's the big one, right? What are your steps on ditching debt.
Woo! Okay.
Come on, girl.
Okay, so my steps on ditching debt. And now this is exactly my thought process and how I'm started and still did. So what I feel is the first thing that you have
Hold on, you got to start again. Hold on 1 second. To those who are watching, there you go. I'm trying to make you big so you can like have the center stage. All right, go ahead. Give us your 10 steps.
All righty. So my steps on ditching debt. First, you definitely have to get your mindset right. Okay, you can't go anywhere without getting your mindset corrected, and that process right there is actually several steps in order to just get with the mindset. In my book, 7 Steps to Distress and to Ignite Your Financial Lifestyle, the mental is the huge battle. That's your biggest battle that you're going to be dealing with. And so that's why I talk about that the most, actually chapters 1 through 7. So basically mindset. Then 2, you also need to set some goals. You have to set goals, because if you don't set goals, then you're not aiming anywhere. So we always have to set some type of goal so that we know where we're going. Now, I'm going to back up to mindset really quick. Okay. You know, negativity likes to hang on to us. It likes to stick to us. And so the reason why we have to get our minds right is because when you start your financial journey, when you start trying to ditch debt, there are so many things that are going to come your way trying to attack you, that are going to put you 2 steps back. And then you take 1 step forward. You're going to have the mindset to tell yourself that it's okay. I'm okay now. I'm going to get better. Everything's not right. You have to give yourself those positive affirmations so that you can keep going. It really does, because I'm an overthinker. So I know if I'm an overthinker, I know there are millions of other people out there like me that we get stuck in our heads, and we have to push ourselves forward. But a lot of times when we get stuck in our heads, we are replaying negative things that are going on, or negative things that have taken place. And we're not giving ourselves a chance in order to be successful, because we're constantly thinking about the negative of what's going on. And so that's why it's so important to get your mindset right. And, in order to get that right, you got to invite quality people around you. Right? You can't have people telling you that you shouldn't do this, you can't do this. You have to invite other people into your life who are quality. That means that they're going to hold you accountable, and that, that's somebody that you respect and you will listen to. And so that the mindset is just so important. If you could see, like right behind me, I have tons of sticky notes, things that just kind of encourage me, or goals that I want to have down. And so in order to accomplish your goals, I feel like you need to write it out. Writing I feel like writing is very prophetic, and I don't feel that there's nothing that I've accomplished that I haven't written down. The working in the library was a dream of mine. I wrote it down years beforehand, along with the salary that I wanted to make. And so we have to write down our hopes, our dreams, our goals, so that we can actually move towards that. So that's just one area where I feel that we have to do. So get a journal and write down your goals so that you can actually target your success. You also need to talk it out. Okay, we have to talk about what's going on. A lot of times we want to hold it in, but when you talk out your problems with other people, even you talk it out with experts, or you're talking it over with somebody who your accountability partner, you can make sure that you're headed in the right direction, and you're not keeping so much stuff bottled inside. And so if we we feel like we're alone on our journeys a lot of time, that we're the only one going through it. And unfortunately, misery does love company. But talking that out with somebody else around you may have or probably already has experienced what you're going through, and that's going to be a good dose of help. It's definitely, they may not give you money to actually go out and fix the problem, because that's really not always, a lot of times that's not what we need. Some people, yes, do need to bridge the gap and increase their cash flow, but not everybody. Okay. The next thing, we also need to stop. This is what I say, temptations, right? They're like little pebbles in your shoe. That's actually my title in my book, Temptations, the Pebbles in Your Shoe. Because what temptations do is they hold us back, and they actually help us to be 2 steps back. So if you're an emotional spender, then you need to figure out, you need to understand why you spend. But if you know you're an emotional spender, then that can help you when you're triggered, when you're sad or you're upset, and we go out and actually spend, so we can get those few moments of euphoria that we feel when we spend. And so you need to be aware of what's tempting you to spend. What are your temptations? Is it a place? Okay. Whatever it is. So we want to get rid of that, because like I said before, finances are stressful. Okay. And then we also need to be aware of our time. What are we doing with our time? Okay. Now, what I do with my time now is much different than what I used to do it with my time. And so now I'm reading, articles about finances. I'm reading on, how can I get better my deductions? So you're really trying to figure out, use your time, because that's your richest asset. It really is. So those are kind of like some things to kind of help with the mindset, which is kind of like, step 1. Now, if you want to start ditching your debt after you clear your mind, you get stress-free, okay, there are, good steps that you can take in order to master your finances. And the first thing that I had to do after my mindset was to evaluate where I was. I had to evaluate everything that I was doing. And so I came up with an acronym called the cash flow system. And this is what I talk about in my book. So I'll talk about it super briefly here. So C, I've already talked about change your mindset. A is attack your emotional spending. We talked about that. S is that you need to script a budget. Okay. Now, I always say you are too grown out here to be operating without a budget. You have to get a budget, because we want to tell our money what to do, and we don't want the money telling us what to do. Okay, so we take control. And a lot of times when so many different things are going on in your life, taking control of your money will actually calm the sea. You have control, and the budget will tell you it will actually help you to set those boundaries, especially when you have people, grabbing at your pockets every month or every few months, because they're not physically responsible. And so script your budget so you can tell your money where to go. Inside of that budget, okay, is my H in the cash flow, is hold firm to the emergency fund. You have to put the emergency fund in your budget. It is your biggest player. I call it the safety. It's like a safety. You have to put the emergency fund in there, because when I tell you, I could rattle off probably about 10 or 12 things that happened just in the past year since COVID that have happened that has put just constantly beat up my budget. And so if you don't put the emergency fund in there, your budget will be non-existent. And so you will always feel like a failure when it comes to actually making your budget and sticking to your budget, because emergencies are going to happen. There's just It's going to happen. So there's no point in walking through life. Think they're not. They're going to happen. And so we just want to be prepared for that. It doesn't mean that you have to walk around on your tippy toes or, in a, with a bulletproof vest on, but with just make preparation. The next thing is I say, fill your pockets. Okay. Now, when I say fill your pockets.
Okay. Before you go there.
Yes.
I want to go back and get this cash because I really feel like this is super simple, super easy for people to remember, to think cash and to think of these things. So what was the C again?
C is change your mindset.
Change your mindset. You can all hear me. I'm typing. You can hear it. I know it's showing up and all that, but hey, we want to get these things down. So change your mindset. And then what was A?
A is attack emotional spending.
Ooh. I am typing this out. Emotional spending. What? Save that baby and put that up there right now. So change your mindset, attack emotional spending, and then
script a budget.
Script a budget. I had that a little bit different, so I want to make sure I got this right. Script a budget. That's why I was like, this is super simple to remember. And then H was hold on to the emergency fund.
Yep.
Yeah, is that right?
Hold.
Or do you say
firm to the emergency fund?
Hold firm.
Yes, get a tight grip and hold on to it.
Hold firm to the emergency fund. Doesn't mean you make the fund and you take it out to go out because you're like, oh, there's some money there.
I know you have to be very, but also I would say on the emergency fund as well, don't hold it so tight that when you actually get an emergency or you actually need to use it, that you don't use it, because I did find that I did not want to spend the money even when the emergency came, but that's what it's there for. Okay. So, you might have to put your budget on hold,
So here's the thing, right? A lot of people would say getting their car inspected and putting new tires on is emergency. I'm suspecting that you would say that's part of your budget.
Yeah, you want to set up sinking funds in order to pay for things that are going to come up. You're going to have that particular expense come up. It's not an emergency and you just need to prepare for it. So
what are emergency funds?
Emergency funds are for strictly urgent things.
What would be an activity that might come up where you would spend that rather than you should have budgeted for it?
Okay, so for me, an emergency, I'll tell you, give you an example. In the Houston, Texas, where I'm at, we had a blizzard and a lot of people's pipes burst. And so my pipes didn't burst in February, but they bursted in March. That's an emergency that needed to get fixed. And so I did have to use my emergency fund for that.
Because living in Texas, you wouldn't expect, that is not something that's going to naturally happen. You normally don't have freezing temperatures for days that allow your pipes to freeze up and then become weak, so that then if it happens again, usually it's a day, if that. So right. Yes, that was an emergency. So I just wanted people to be able to kind of in their head see the difference.
And not like when people invite you out to a concert, that's not an emergency.
That's your fun budget.
Exactly.
I don't know what you call it, but I call it fun budget.
Yeah. If your budget says no, tell them no. And, sometimes you got to sacrifice now so that you can get to the greater good. Okay. A little sacrifice for a couple of years to live the life you want later. I mean, come on. Wouldn't you sacrifice 2 or 3 years so that you can live the rest of your life, much better than the years prior? So some things we just got to stick to and hustle and just do it. All right. So that was cash. All right. And then the flow, F, I talk about fill your pockets. F is fill your pockets.
Okay, sounds like I need to type again. I'll mute myself so everybody doesn't hear me type.
All right, so fill your pockets, and I'll be quick because I can be long-winded, and I see it's already, I see the time. So fill your pockets is all about, what are you already bringing in and paying out. You need to understand that you need to make sure that you keep more of your money and stop spending. Whatever you have going out, if you have more money going out than you have coming in, that's a problem. Okay. I've been in the red before. And what was I supplementing my income with? I was supplementing with credit cards because I was okay. I could afford the bill, but we have to be better than just affording the bill. So you want to make sure that, one, you're not overpaying for certain things. Like you need to cancel subscriptions. You need to, especially if you're not using them. Okay. Some stuff we just have to sacrifice. There are a lot of, cable bills are high. You don't need 300 channels. You can't even watch 300 channels. So we have to, we just got to sacrifice. Like some stuff we just don't need. We're just telling ourselves that we deserve it and that we do need it. So we just have to recheck our priorities. What is it that you really want? Do you want to get out of debt? So in order to.
What's the L? Continue on.
All right. So we're going to fill our pockets. We're going to streamline and cut our losses and look at what's already in our pockets and cut it out. Okay. So that way we can use more of that money to pay towards the debt. L is level the debt. Okay. That means that you're going to do one or two methods. You're going to do debt snowball or you're going to do debt avalanche. You can either pay off the smallest debt first, which I feel snowball is the way to go, because once you pay off one debt, it's going to make you all happy inside and you're going to, get pumped up to continue to pay off your debt. Or you can do debt avalanche where you pay off your the highest interest rate first and you keep going, down that area. Now that to me, even though financially and mathematically, it makes more sense to do the avalanche. So that way your creditors don't get, most of your money, but you have to be in it for the long haul because your results are going to take a little while to get there. If you don't have or if you already don't have you're not making the capital to just pay it off, quicker. So that is L, level the debt. And I say, you have to get rid of your debt because your debt is what keeps you from building wealth. Plain and simple. All right, the O. So basically, that's actually that's it for the debt. And then after, if we want to stay out of debt, you got to get to the O, which is obtain your full emergency fund. So personally, most people say 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Personally, I want to have at least 12 months saved up, anywhere from 6 to 12 months, only because we just dealt with a pandemic that's still going on. And some people have actually used up that 3 to 6 month emergency fund. So, I mean, we can never be 100% prepared in life, but 6 to 12 months just sounds like a better option after what we've gone through for me. All right. And then W is wealth building. So you can get out your wealth building strategies. That is not my lane of brilliance, but all I can do is educate people about the different types of wealth building strategies out there. You have different streams of income for your business, for retirement. You could start a business. Could you start a business before you got through any of these to help you increase your cash flow? Yes, you could. Real estate, you have 401ks, IRAs, self-directed IRAs. There are just so many different options when it comes to investment. So I talk about, looking at getting a financial advisor or getting a registered investment agent. Both of those persons are very versed in what they do and to help you build your portfolio when it comes to investing. Now, I know some gurus feel that you shouldn't invest until you get out of debt, but that could take you years. And I feel that you got to start somewhere. Like as an educator, I don't have a choice but to invest into retirement because it is mandatory that we do. So, but I don't feel that you should wait years and years, because some people, it might take them 8 or 9 years to get out of debt. Okay. Don't look at somebody else's journey. Look at your journey. And that's what matters the most.
That is a good word. Don't look at somebody else's journey. Look at yours and where you're at. Because if we start comparing, whenever we start comparing, whether it's finances, whether it's our personal development, whether it's cooking dinner, you know, when we start to compare, that's when you set yourself up for like getting beat down.
Yep. So comparison is the thief of joy.
Don't do it. Don't go there. All right. So we have been 40 minutes. I usually like to go about 45 to 50 minutes. So we have like 5 more minutes and we have like 5 more questions. So do you think we can do like rapid fire?
Rapid fire. Let's
You're
go.
going to give me a quick response to each of these questions. All righty. Here we go. I think we're good on this one. Why do you focus on mindset and boundaries when it comes to crushing debt? But give me a 1-sentence response.
I focus on mindset and boundaries when it comes to crushing debt because money is behavioral, and that's pretty much it. We're emotionally when we spend, most of us. So
how did you get started in this industry?
I got started in this industry because I was the one who had that big lump sum that I stole for myself. And I looked around and saw that even though I got that big lump of sum, I still did not crush debt like I said I was. And it didn't change my trajectory. I needed what was up here, and I needed the right tools and strategies to start crushing debt.
Nice. So thoughts and tips about personal credit.
Personal credit. Get out of debt, okay? Don't look. You cannot worry about your credit score versus getting out of debt. Get out of debt. Who cares if your score drops, okay? Now, I understand that you need the credit score, but the debt is what's holding a noose around your neck. It is a heavy yoke to carry. So I feel you need to worry about your debt and not about the credit score. Yes, I have crushed debt and my credit score has gone down, but guess what? As it's going to slowly go back up and you will be okay.
So why does it make it go down? Did you like not pay some things so that you could do the avalanche?
It depends.
Thing, like
if you consolidate your debt to one area, then that can make it go down. Also, if you...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Also, if you have an account that you pay off, I had an account that I paid off, so that made it go down because now it's no longer on my credit report because it wasn't a revolving credit.
That seems backwards to me.
Hey,
that would make it go down.
Look, when I look at the credit game, I feel like, man, they have got us so wired and tied to credit. And someone asked me on a live once, they were like, well, how can you live life without credit? That's a great question. If you've never thought of it, then you've never tried to figure out how you can do it. But there are people who are doing it. And even though I still know that, you know, I'm not saying that I'm still will use credit because but I know I have the financial, I would say steps and strategies to use it. I'm not swiping like I used to. Everything is paid off the day of, or a few days later, or before the month is over. So I'm not carrying anything at all.
So the related question from one of our listeners, is there a difference between good debt and bad debt?
All debt is debt. Keyword, good debt is an oxymoron. If you think about it that way, it is an oxymoron. So the Bible tells me, and because I'm a Christian believer, that you are slave to the lender. And so we have to stop thinking that even your house, I have a house that I'm still paying on. There's not a good debt. It's still debt. And we just have to look at it as debt. So I will get out of this, pay my house off as quickly as I possibly can, because at any point in time, if something happens to me, if I'm not covered with the proper insurance or whatever it is, then I could lose my house, because again, I don't own it until I actually get the deed in my hand. And so you want to secure that as soon as possible. Most people, well, I wouldn't say most people are not, you don't have to wait 30 years to pay off your house. Just get busy, put some the extra lump sums toward the principal, and you can be out of your house in 10, 11 years, even less. I've seen people do it in 8 years.
Nice. So tips on how people can increase their cash flow, because that is one way to help pay off debt, is to increase your actual cash flow, right? I mean, that's a piece of why people are not paying off debt, is that they don't have that cash flow in order to actually pay off it.
So what I did, I definitely analyzed everything that I had. I started cutting out things. I cut out subscriptions. I cut out the gym. I cut out the cable. Well, I didn't cut out the cable, but I lowered my cable bill because I said, give me the basic. I also called my phone company, and I asked for, hey, I need a better deal. I've been with you guys for years, so I need a better deal. I'm trying to lower this. I called everybody to try to lower my bills. Sometimes you can get with a broker, especially if they have energy brokers, they have insurance brokers to help you find a better deal when it comes to those items. So I definitely, first I look within to see where I could scale down. Ask them for a new customer package. They can do that. I always ask for the loyalty department, because that's where you want to go when you're starting to cut some things out. Also, you can start a side hustle. Look at your skills that you already have. You might be a good virtual assistant if you know how to type. There are a lot of, the pandemic has created so many entrepreneurs. It's crazy. And so if you would, could hire yourself out to do just some virtual assistant work, that can help. If you're good, I'm good at baking. So my very first inclination, I started baking. And actually this past December, I made about $600 baking.
Nice.
And that's, my side hustle used to help me pay off debt. And so you have to, see it like that. There's so many things.
Okay. So the last question, you have a book coming out next month. What is it about?
Yes. My book is called Find Your Spark: 7 Steps to Ditch Stress and Ignite Your Financial Lifestyle. And so it's all about getting rid of the stress. And then I go over the cash flow method in the last chapter, because again, like I said, everything is up here. It's the mindset, and finances cause so much stress. About 90% of people before the pandemic said that finances was one of their top stressors. About 70%, in the last one that I looked at, it said about 70% of people, had some financial stressors. And so, most people are living paycheck to paycheck. And that's even people who you think, who we think are, oh, they should be balling out of control. They're doing great. No, everything at the top is a simulation to what's happening at the bottom. If they're making $1 million, they're making $1 million and still living paycheck to paycheck. I guarantee you. So don't get impressed about what you see people spending, because I guarantee you a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. They had an article last year about NBA players, about a good percentage of NBA players are living paycheck to paycheck, and they get well paid more than, just little me old educated, right? So I know if I'm doing it, somebody somewhere else is doing it. It's not about how much you spend. It's not how much people can show you. It's, what are they saving and how are they managing their money? That's what's going to make the difference. And so my book is all about, ditching that stress so you can move to your best financial lifestyle and just taking control. And so you got to take control of your mind, so then you can take control of your money.
Alrighty. So if people want to get this book, or even look at other things like you have, I see you have a membership, you have a few other things going on, they can actually find you over on Facebook.
Yes,
so
they can go to Facebook.
Pop that up there. Facebook. The other place would be Instagram. Find her. Send her a message. Let her know, hey, I want the book. I want to know more about your membership. I would love to know more about you. Get to know each other. That's what this is all about. Helping to show off people that I find along the way that I love their energy. I love what they're doing. I love the way they're presenting it. And her cash flow, like, it's super easy to remember, right? So we are going to, let me get back there. Super easy to remember, only, got to get back there and make sure I remember it right. Change your mindset. Attack emotional spending. Script a budget. Hold firm to your emergency fund. Fill your pockets. Level your debt. Obtain your full emergency fund. And then wealth building strategies. If you do them in that order, you're going to crush it. And a year from now, you will be in a better place. No matter how far you've gotten through there, if you start at the beginning of that, a year from now, you will be in a better place. Guaranteed. If you start with mindset and you start shifting that, even if it takes you a year, you're still going to be in a better place.
Yep, that's true.
What do you have to say? Last words, last encouragement to folks that may be listening or watching this replay.
Well, first, I want to thank you for having me on. Oh my gosh, we set this up so long ago, so I appreciate it. And to just anybody who's listening, just know that you can do it. And really, I stress not looking to the left and to the right. There are people out there who are going to be like, I crushed $60,000 in debt in 24 months or 12 months, 13 months, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you just crush $1,000 this year, you're still worthy, and so we have got to stop putting our worth and looking and comparing ourselves to others. Your journey is your journey. And hey, I'm all here for it. So send me and send Cindy Lou, anybody, send us, anything that you took away from this. Give us your accolades and celebrate those small wins, because we have to keep ourselves going. Because a lot of times, we feel alone in this journey, but I promise you there are other people out there doing the same thing. All right. Peace and blessings to everyone. I appreciate you all for listening.
Thank you for all listening. And remember to live your life out loud and be bold you. Yes. Da-da.